So there's a couple things that you should know about DACA. First thing, on June 15th, 2012, the Secretary of Homeland Security announced an American immigration policy allowing certain people who came to the US as children, along with other guidelines, may request consideration of deferred action for a period of 2 years. They are also eligible for work. Second thing, on September 5th, 2017, the Trump administration rescinded the program but delayed implementation for 6 months. The third thing is that 8,000 immigrants who have lived illegally in the United States would be subject to removal once their government-issued work permits would expire within those next 6 months. Virginia Tech students and Blacksburg citizens voiced their opinions on the situation. On September 11th, 2017, the community came together to show solidarity.
Education, not deportation!
Education, not deportation!
Up with liberation! Down,
Down with deportation! Up with liberation!
DACA! DACA! Not deportation!
Education, not deportation!
Defend! Defend! Defend!
I spoke with Omar Effendum, a Syrian-American hip-hop artist. He speaks on many democratic issues in his music, so I got his opinions on DACA during his one-week residency at Virginia Tech through the Moss Art Center.
I mean, my immediate reactions to the decision that Trump made with DACA were probably along the lines of, oh God, here's another horrible thing that we're going to have to swallow as a nation. And I immediately started to think about, you know, my neighbors and friends who I know will be affected by this. I live in Los Angeles. Thinking about the lives that'll be completely disrupted by this, you know, really cruel decision. And it got me thinking about my story and what brought me here, you know, the promise of, you know, being an immigrant in this country and what it can mean for people, especially those who are fleeing, you know, turmoil and economic disparities and things like that. Yeah, for so many of these people, like at such a later stage in life after they've already built their lives here, it's just heartbreaking, you know. And I started seeing some of the videos that people were posting online, telling their stories, and there's just a diversity of experiences that is going to affect and disrupt. And you know, the amount of people who don't even necessarily speak the language of that home country that they're being sent back to, or have any memories or connections to it. I mean, it's really, really heartbreaking. As a rapper, as a poet, as an activist, you know, it's important to speak up and speak out. But you know, there are moments where you sit back and reflect and wonder what else can you do. And so any organizations that are out there that are doing something to support people in this situation, we've got to definitely you know, start to amplify.
One of those organizations is Tech Dreamers. They advocate and educate others as to what undocumented students are by providing resources and an effort to make higher education more attainable.
I myself am like a DACA student. So the DACA program really helped me get to college. I think President Trump was in the wrong just because there's so many other things he could be focusing on, and it was kind of just spitting on all these young people who just didn't do anything, and they're making the country better. They're working, they're going to school. And really, if he wanted something to change, he could have just asked Congress. We're kind of doing damage control. We're just seeing where they're at with their permits and everything, if they expire soon, when they expire, just stuff like that. So there's so many people just kind of stuck in limbo. They can't really work, but they're still here. So they find working construction, just being paid on the table, and it really something just needs to be done one way or another. I think we'll definitely be okay, just because, you know, people have gone to college, they have worked before DACA, and we can definitely do it now that it's going away.
As a student journalist, it's hard to speak on DACA. There are some people who are in support of it, there are people who are against it. And although I may be covering different perspectives, it doesn't do justice towards the people who are going to lose their jobs, going to lose their ability to go to school. There are even students who are directly affected by DACA at my own university. Although at the end of the day, I think what's important to consider is that people's lives are directly affected by this act. School is already difficult enough, work life is already difficult to go through, and I hope that all those who are affected get the help that they deserve.